everyone, we've got a beautiful early fall afternoon to fish. I'm back in my crawdad, which means I can bring plenty of rods, play around with a few different techniques and see what works. I'm starting out with a Shimano Zumverno 95. It's a real twitchy, darty jerkbait. We are into jerkbait season. The water was pretty warm for a while and it's just starting to cool down now, at least when this video was shot. And I got a fish on. This afternoon we've got bright sunny skies, basically no clouds, not much wind. These kind of tough fishing conditions, so my main target for today is panfish like this guy. The bigger the better. That's a pretty decent sized crappie. And it seems like the better crappie go for the bigger baits. You know, that's really a bass bait. I like that. That's a new color of the Zumverno, the matte perch. They had it out, I don't know, a little while ago and they immediately sold out. But basically it's a perch pattern, but it has a hint of orange on the belly, or maybe a shot of orange on the belly. That's a nice tall crappie right there. Yeah, there's a better look at it. It's got the flash boost inside. It's a nice looking bait. I really like those Zumvernos and I've got them in a couple different colors now. You know, they're not cheap, but they work. I decided, since I didn't bring my net, I didn't even leave it in the truck. I forgot my net. So I decided I'd fish with a bait that didn't have as many hooks, but still pretty good size for crappie. See if I could pull out some of the bigger ones. And I went with a 2.5-inch mare that's been doing really well for me on crappie and bass lately. Just cast it out, slow roll it back. I've got it in electric shad color because I was fishing it for bass earlier. And the crappie don't seem to care too much about the color. It's just that slow rolling boot tail kicking back there. And then I felt like I wasn't getting quite as good a quality of fish. And so I went back to the jerkbait. But I didn't want to fish one with 3 trebles, so I wanted 2 trebles. So if I did accidentally get wrapped up in the trebles, I just thought it would be less trouble with fewer trebles in terms of hooking myself. And that's a Duo Realis 77 SP. I feel like the Rozante series of the Duo Realis is kind of overlooked. And every once in a while I get a bad one. I get one that sinks or cracks easily. But for the most part, they make excellent baits. And pretty much right away, as soon as I put that jerkbait on, that little jerkbait on, I was into fish again, in the right size too. You know, I can barely get my hand around that one. You know, he's not a giant, but he's just bigger than the rest of them that I was catching. He's nice and thick. He's tall. That's the kind we're after. And I feel like I was getting the better ones on jerkbaits like this and the Shimano Zumverno 95 earlier. It's got a casting system in the Rozante, and you can hear it click on the cast. That's that ball going to the back of the bait. Casts really well on BFS gear. I've got 2 of these BFS combos in the boat today, and I'm using them to fish the jerkbaits. In case you're not familiar, BFS just means bait finesse system, and it's a way of presenting lighter lures using bait casting gear instead of using spinning gear. That's all it really is. And it's a fun way to fish. It's very effective. And it's the same kind of motions, the same kind of muscle memory, the same twitches that I'm used to, I don't know, fishing 610 medium X Pride jerkbait with a Megabass Vision 110, or whatever your favorite jerkbait combo is, whatever your favorite bass size jerkbait, it all transfers down with these little ones. I'm trying to hit the slack just like you'd fish a heavier bait casting combo. That's not a bad one on that Duo Realis Rozante 77 SP. You notice I'm fishing a lot of perch patterns. I like the perch patterns in ponds and lakes that don't have like a herring run, or I don't know, shad, or a big shiner population. That's kind of my go-to. So it makes the color selection really simple for me. I'm either going to go with a perch pattern or a herring pattern. Those are the two main ones. And then every once in a while I'll throw a bold pattern like clown, something like that. I switched it up to a smaller panfish combo. That's a Daiwa Presso rod with a Daiwa 1000 Fuego reel. It's a great combo. And I'm fishing with a 2.5-inch mare on this lighter rod because I broke off the other one. And I'm just trying to pick off a few more fish. And if I can catch the bigger ones on the light stuff, that's kind of fun too. But what I was finding is that I was catching smaller fish. And so the jerkbait was really pulling out, culling out the bigger crappie, and that's really what I want to catch. Not these little guys so much. But it's good to test, you know, test the waters. Once the wind died, I ended up kind of kicking back and fishing an even smaller combo. That's a tungsten trout magnet. And I was hoping to catch some bigger fish with the smaller plastics, but they really were on those jerkbaits, those smaller jerkbaits. And that's something I've seen a lot, but you know, sometimes they get off of them and they won't hit it, especially if the wind dies out on you. So I'd rather catch fish than not catch any. But you know, you can make an argument you should have stuck with or I should have stuck with the bigger jerkbaits. If you're just learning about jerkbaits, now's the time to get out there and practice throwing them. Panfish make a great target species. They tend to be a little bit more agreeable than bass, especially on these bluebird sky days with no wind. Although I did have to go to the smaller plastics in the end. Got a few on the jerkbaits. But it's the same motions, the same kind of technique that you want to employ. I just downsized the jerkbaits a little bit. But once you get the right cadence, you know, it's really the same as fishing for bass. And it's very transferable. So they make a great species to kind of practice on and learn if you haven't fished a lot of jerkbaits. All right, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Just like all my other videos, I'll list all the gear in the video description so you can duplicate what I was doing out here this afternoon. Hopefully have some good luck wherever you are fishing across the country or around the world. Catch you